Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're zoning in on something I know you guys are absolutely passionate about, taking a standard short-term rental and completely transforming it into a highly profitable hospitality powerhouse. We've gone ahead and synthesized a ton of diverse hosting strategies, data points, and expert research to build what we're calling the ultimate STR master playbook. Let's get right into it. But before we get into the weeds, I've got a seriously important question for you. Are you leaving thousands of dollars on the table? I know, it's a painful thought, right? But the truth is, a lot of hosts fall victim to these common, totally hidden traps without even realizing it. So let's dive into this and figure out exactly how to plug those leaks. 15 to 30%. Think about that for a second. That is the chunk of revenue you're quietly leaving behind if you're still relying on a set-it-and-forget-it static pricing strategy, especially when you compare it to hosts who are actively using dynamic pricing. It's a massive gap. And, it's just one of the areas where a tiny shift in your strategy can literally change your entire business. To capture that lost revenue, we're following a 5-pillar roadmap today. Mastering the algorithm, perfecting your presentation, nailing down dynamic pricing, managing guests and rules, and finally, protecting your investment. All right, let's kick things off with Pillar 1, mastering the Airbnb algorithm. A lot of hosts treat the algorithm like it's some mysterious black box. But actually, it's just a machine learning system with one specific job, matching guests with the listing that has the absolute highest probability of being booked. So how easily can you accidentally train it to hide your property? Well, enter the doom loop. It goes like this. You set a price that's just a bit too high. Because of that, guests scroll right past, meaning your click-through rate drops. The few folks who do click, they don't book, so your conversion rate tanks. The algorithm looks at this mismatch, assumes your listing is low quality, and boom, suddenly, you're buried on page 10. Let's clear up some myths versus reality here. A really common myth is that keyword stuffing your title, putting luxury beachfront paradise in all caps, is going to magically boost your rank. It absolutely won't. The reality is that visibility is driven by actual performance metrics like click-through rates, plus the AI is literally parsing your reviews for specific positive sentiments like spotless kitchen. And you absolutely have to maximize that crucial 2 to 4 week new listing boost, where the platform is aggressively testing your property's viability. Which segues perfectly into our second pillar, perfect presentation. So you need clicks to feed that algorithm, right? Well, the data shows that professional photos can bump your click-through rate by a staggering 22 to 31%. Guys, that is the literal difference between sitting pretty on page 1 and being lost on page 3. To get there, you need these absolute must-have shots. A killer exterior for that first impression magic, welcoming living spaces, sparkling clean kitchens, cozy bedrooms, and standout outdoor zones. The experts say to flood the space with natural light, clear out all the clutter, and purposely highlight your practical amenities. Think hot tubs, fire pits, or a dedicated workspace. These are the visual triggers that make a guest stop scrolling and actually imagine themselves relaxing in your space. And that brings us to Pillar 3, dynamic pricing strategies. Okay, so once guests click, you've got to make sure you're actually getting paid what you're worth for that booking. This completely changes how you value your calendar. Let's compare static pricing to dynamic pricing. Static pricing is basically setting one flat rate for the entire summer, crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. Not great. Dynamic pricing, on the other hand, uses data-driven tools like PriceLabs or Beyond Pricing to tweak your rates daily based on real-time supply and demand. But here's the kicker, these tools aren't magic. They still desperately need human oversight. You have to step in to handle those unbookable orphan days between reservations, or to manually crank up the prices for massive peak event demand spikes that algorithms almost always underprice.
Let's keep moving. Pillar 4, managing guests and rules.
Look, marketing and pricing get guests through the door, for sure. But how you handle them once they're there, that dictates your reviews. I absolutely love this mindset shift from the sources. This is not a real estate business. This is a hospitality business. When you're dealing with demanding, or let's face it, unhappy guests, you cannot approach it like a landlord fixing a leaky pipe. You've got to tackle it with a pure customer service mentality. You're not just renting a box, you are curating an experience. Now, to provide that high-end hospitality without completely burning yourself out, you need to automate your communication. You can easily schedule quick replies for the exact moment your guests actually need them. We're talking a warm thank you right at the booking, clear check-in instructions and directions a few days pre-trip, and a polite checkout reminder at the end. Doing this saves you an unbelievable amount of time, plus it maintains those lightning-fast response rates that the algorithm rewards so heavily. But hey, hospitality definitely does not mean letting guests walk all over you. You've got to establish crystal clear expectations up front, which is exactly why your listing needs rock-solid house rules. You must explicitly address the big ones: no parties, strict pet policies, smoking bans, precise checkout times, and noise curfews. To really hit the nail on the head as to why this matters, there's this wild cautionary tale from our sources. An unhappy guest was staying in a place that lacked blinds on a massive window. Their solution? They literally used duct tape to stick trash bags to the glass. And when they peeled the tape off, the paint came right off the walls with it. Having clear rules and setting expectations helps mitigate those completely bizarre scenarios. And that leads us nicely into our final section, Pillar 5, protecting your investment. Even with the absolute best rules in place, the worst-case scenario is eventually going to happen. It's just a matter of time. You are operating a real commercial enterprise here, and you need to protect that physical asset accordingly. You might have the most beautiful vacation rental in the world, but is it actually properly insured? A lot of hosts rely entirely on platform protections, like Airbnb's Air Cover. And sure, while it's a nice little safety net, you have to understand that it is not a true legally binding insurance contract. In fact, it often forces you to awkwardly chase down the guest directly for funds before the platform will even lift a finger to intervene. Let's look at standard homeowners insurance versus specialized SDR insurance. Standard homeowner policies are designed for your primary residence, and they almost always exclude business activity entirely. Think about that. If a paying guest accidentally starts a kitchen fire, your claim could be flat out denied, zero coverage. What you actually need is a comprehensive commercial short-term rental policy, one that specifically covers guest-caused damage and, crucially, reimburses you for lost business revenue while the property is sitting empty being repaired. So the big takeaway here is that you really need specialized providers, like CBIs, for example, who truly understand the intricacies of this industry. A proper commercial general liability policy doesn't just cover the four walls of the house. It covers off-premises incidents, too. Say you provide amenities like bicycles or paddleboards, and a guest gets hurt using one. You want to be covered for that. It's really all about securing total peace of mind, so you can stop worrying about liabilities and focus entirely on growing your business. Wow, we have covered a tremendous amount of ground today, right? Everything from the hidden depths of the algorithm to mastering dynamic pricing and locking down commercial liability. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. Are you ready to audit your listing today using this playbook? Take a hard look at your photos, double-check your pricing ceilings, and go pull out your insurance policy right now. Apply what you've learned in this explainer, plug those revenue leaks, and take your short-term rental to the absolute next level. Thank you so much for joining me, and keep learning.